Krispy Kreme is offering a sweet incentive to encourage more people to get the COVID vaccine. Starting today, customers who show a valid COVID vaccination card at any Krispy Kreme store will get a free original glazed donut. No purchase is necessary, and the offer is good through the end of the year. The chain says the promotion is a long-term for a reason, as not everybody is eligible for the vaccine quite yet.
Imagine a world with an oral COVID-19 vaccine. As the world races to vaccinate people against the COVID-19 virus, the effort is hampered by the need to keep vaccines at freezing temperatures and have qualified people administer the shots. Imagine if the shots would be required every year or every 6 months. But what if the vaccine could be taken as a pill in the comfort of your own home? An oral vaccine could help quickly vaccinate the most vulnerable and people in remote areas. Oravax, a company based on Oramed Pharmaceuticals' patented oral delivery technology, is developing an oral COVID-19 vaccine. Oravax's vaccine in development, should it be approved, would not have to be kept at below freezing temperatures and would not have to be administered at central locations. An oral vaccine that could pave the way to a pandemic-free world.
If you're the kind of person who strategizes about how to survive The Walking Dead, this could be crucial life-saving information. Researchers have rated the best and worst cities in the case of zombie apocalypse. Economic Modeling Specialists International ranked cities on their ability to defend against a zombie attack, stockpiling food, containing zombies, finding a cure. And if you live in New York City, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you're toast. The city got the worst rating, followed by Tampa, Los Angeles, Riverside, and San Bernardino, California. Southern California really stinks. And Chicago, so the nation's 3 biggest cities, right? Best place to be? Boston. The city was rated as the place you most likely would survive. Other contenders here: Salt Lake City, Columbus, Ohio, Baltimore, Virginia Beach, and Norfolk, Virginia. But, I just have a problem with this, right? Here I live in New York City, and I will admit that Manhattan may not be the best place to survive a zombie apocalypse. Number one, the food is going to go really fast. Number two, they can climb stairs, and as everyone knows, your buildings go up really high. But think if you live in Brooklyn, also part of New York City, or Staten Island. You could contain the threat to Manhattan and still have lots of farmland to grow food. I think if you live in Brooklyn, you'll be just fine. I'm not a scientist.
Travel to the southern border, sir? Not at the moment. Travel to the southern border, sir? Not at the moment.
Have you decided when you're able to share thoughts with other countries? Is it allies or neighbors first?
Details tonight after a worker says his disgruntled boss paid him his final paycheck in pennies. Nearly $1,000 worth of coins dumped in his driveway. Tonight, CBS 46's Jamie Kennedy speaking with the owner of A.O.K. Walker Luxury Auto Shop to get his side of the story.
Probably $1,000 worth of pennies and a little love note.
Those pennies dumped at Andreas Flatten's house in the middle of the night as a form of payment for his final check from A.O.K. Walker Luxury Auto Shop, according to him. They're also covered in oil.
They're covered in something. I don't know what it is, but it smells funny.
Andreas says he left the auto shop because of a toxic work environment. The man behind the stunt, according to Andreas, is the auto shop owner, Miles Walker, and it seems like he's not the only one who left because of working conditions.
And while working for him, he was my manager, and pardon my language, but he said, "You think you have a bigger dick than any of the boys? Well, we're going to prove that right now," and decided to de-pants me in the lobby and thought it was funny
The other employees I spoke with say they too experienced a toxic environment.
I'm ripping up people's paychecks, their last check, in front of their face and tell them, get out of here.
I spoke with Walker in person about the pennies and recorded the conversation. I asked you at all about the pennies? Do you know anything about that?
I know tons about it. What's wrong with it?
So you did drop the pennies over at that person's house?
I don't know if I did that or not. I don't really remember.
It
doesn't matter.
Did it or not?
He got paid. That's all that matters. He's a weenie for even bringing it up.
It seemed like too much of a stretch to ask for a penny for his thoughts. Why is he a weenie for bringing it up?
Because he is, and because you guys give him a platform. I just told you exactly what I had to say. You guys are what's wrong with the world. Get the off my property, okay?
And now to what's being called a multi-million-dollar scheme to defraud the feds. A man accused of using money meant for small businesses to buy this mansion in Central Florida, along with other luxury items. He got away with it for a while, but now he's been indicted.
The scheme helped him land millions from the PPP program, and Calvin's in the newsroom with the details.
Well, we've heard the story before. The man is accused of lying about his business, saying it had hundreds of employees with an average monthly payroll of nearly $3 million. But federal investigators say none of that was true. A federal grand jury has returned this indictment charging Don Cisternino of defrauding the federal government out of $7.2 million in COVID-19 relief funds. According to allegations in the indictment, Cisternino is accused of lying about his New York-based consulting company to get millions of dollars in payroll protection plan funds. Investigators say during 2019 and 2020, the company had few or no employees other than Cisternino and his girlfriend. According to the indictment, in April 2020, the Bradenton man submitted a fraudulent PPP loan application, including false supporting documents and bank statements. The application says the company had more than 400 employees. Charging documents indicate of the $7.2 million the couple received, more than $3 million of it went to this mansion. Property records show Cisternino and his girlfriend purchased the home in July 2020. The 12-acre estate boasts a British-style pub theater, 7 bedrooms, a tennis court, and a 5-stall horse barn. Investigators say it was paid for with PPP loan money. The grand jury indictment also claims a trail of evidence reveals Cisternino spent thousands of dollars on pricey vehicles like a Maserati, Lincoln Navigator, and a Mercedes-Benz, all in a span of months in 2020. And Cisternino has been indicted on 2 counts of wire fraud, 3 counts of aggravated identity theft, and 3 counts of illegal monetary transaction.
A mansion turned museum in the heart of Houston is the backdrop for a burglary. Crime sounds like the plot of a Hollywood blockbuster. From a motorboat escape down Buffalo Bayou to a pursuit through the city's sewer system, Melissa Correa is live near River Oaks with the play-by-play. Melissa?
Hey there, Mia. Houston police are still looking for that man and woman who escaped the Bayou Bend collection empty-handed.
On its website, the Museum of Fine Arts Houston describes the Bayou Bend collection as one of the finest showcases of American furnishings, silver, ceramic, and paintings in the world. Thousands walk through the mansion turned museum each year. Around 6:45 p.m. Tuesday, a man and woman entered the home through a basement window. The alarm sounded, a security guard responded, and the couple ran out of the home through the woods and into a motorboat. An off-duty Houston police officer working security in River Oaks called it in.
And they actually took off on a motorboat down the bayou, going towards Shepherd. They're going eastbound. It's a white male. He's wearing olive-colored shirt, tan shorts, I think, and then a white female in khaki shorts. I don't know about the shirt.
Where are they at?
They're in a motorboat. From my understanding, the male's sitting and the female's laying down.
Suspect's got a brown hat on, like a white brim sombrero. They turn around, they're going west, so they're going pretty fast now.
So HPD's dive team was called in, and as they patrolled Buffalo Bayou with a flashlight, they ended up spotlighting this culvert. That's where the couple were hiding on the boat. The duo jumped out into a drainage culvert that runs under River Oaks.
Yeah, they said you can access it by this other driveway down here.
Officers and a canine followed, running into the sewer tunnel for about a half mile before losing radio and cell signal. Police weaved through River Oaks, finally locating the officers and pulling them out through a manhole. But police don't know what happened to the burglars.
It's like out of a movie.
People visiting the property today
And then the sewer system and all that, that's crazy.
have their own suspicions.
Just wonder if they were, prior employees or something.
Between security camera video and doing a manual inventory, the Museum of Fine Arts Houston doesn't believe any of the artwork here was damaged or stolen. Again, Houston police described the couple as a white man and woman with tattoos up and down their arms.
Back here at home, a Milwaukee County judge is spending the night in a Dane County jail facing child pornography charges.
38-year-old Judge Brett Blumey was elected in August. Charges are expected tomorrow. Stephanie Haynes explains what led to his arrest.
Online records show Judge Brett Blumey is a children's court judge here at the Youth and Family Justice Center in Wauwatosa. Now officials say another judge will take over his cases as needed. The Wisconsin Department of Justice says special agents arrested the judge, quote, following an investigation into multiple uploads of child pornography through a Kik messaging application account in October and November 2020, end quote. Based upon records linking those uploads to the defendant, DCI investigators obtained search warrants for the defendant, his chambers, his vehicle, and his residences in Milwaukee and Dane counties. According to the judge's campaign website, he was elected in August 2020. His biography reads in part, quote, Brett is a community activist, experienced attorney, and devoted dad. He has spent his career fighting for the most marginalized in our community. Before that, his website says he was the president and CEO of Cream City Foundation, which is an LGBTQ plus advocacy group in Milwaukee. His website also says he served as a public defender and writes he got his start in politics working for Congresswoman Gwen Moore and Mayor Tom Barrett. Mayor Barrett in a statement writing, quote, the allegations are alarming. Before he was elected to the bench, the judge served as the chair of the Board of Zoning Appeals, an appointed board in city government. The reports of the arrest came as a complete surprise. Chief Judge Mary Trigiano says she's unable to comment because the case is pending. I also tried to get a hold of the judge for comment as well, but have not heard back.
Ah, my little darling, it is love at first sight, is it not? No?
You remember him? Well, he's out of Space Jam 2. He's not going to be in the movie. Warner Brothers distancing itself from Pepe Le Pew. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the cartoon character is not featured in any current Warner TV projects, and there are no plans for the skunk to return. Pepe Le Pew was known for his romantic advances toward black cats that he mistook for fellow skunks, often forcing himself on them. The character did appear in the original Space Jam in 1996. The new Space Jam movie, though, comes out later this summer, and yep, he's not going to be in it.
Meanwhile, on Monday, Bangladesh got its very first transgender news anchor, and the broadcast coincided with International Women's Day and is being seen as a giant leap to overcome the deep-seated prejudices against the transgender community in the South Asian nation. The Tashnua Anan Shishir was born Kamal Hussain Shishir, but discovered early on that she was actually trapped in a man's body. Now, sexually assaulted and bullied for several years, Tashnua had fled to her home to live alone in the capital city of Dhaka. She underwent hormone therapy while working and studying, and then later in January, she became the first transgender person to study for a master's in public health in Dhaka. Now, after the news bulletin, an emotional Tashnua said that she did not want any members of the transgender community to suffer and go through what she had done.
আমি চাই না আমার কোনো কমিউনিটির মানুষ পরিবার ছাড়া থাকুক, কোনো মানুষ তার জীবনে কোনো মানবত জীবন যাপন করুক, সেটা তার স্ব যোগ্যতা ভেদে তার স্ব যোগ্যতা সে কাজ করবে।
Shishir further said that she went for auditions with other channels, but only Boy Sharky was brave enough to take her in. The LGBTQ community faces widespread discrimination, with a colonial-era law still present in Bangladesh that punishes for gay sex with prison terms, though enforcement of this sentence is said to be pretty rare. But since 2013, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's government has allowed trans people to be identified as a separate gender, and from 2018, they've even been allowed to vote as the third gender.
Hi friends, this is probably the most exciting day of my life next to the birth of my child.
and my wedding day.
Former WWE star Gabby Tuff came out as transgender on Thursday via Instagram and got candid about her journey.
I am amazed at the overwhelming show of support.
The 42-year-old shared this pic on Instagram, posing in front of a framed photo of herself when she was still known by her ring name, Tyler Rex. Gabby penned a lengthy caption which read in part, quote, "Unashamed, unabashedly me. This is the side of me that has hidden in the shadows, afraid and fearful of what the world would think, afraid of what my family, friends, and followers would say or do. I am no longer afraid, and I am no longer fearful. I can now say with confidence that I love myself for who I am." Gabby, who retired from the WWE in 2014, noted that the past 8 months have been the darkest of her entire life. The emotional turmoil of being transgender and having to face the world has almost ended me on multiple occasions. However, the day I stopped caring about what other people thought was the day I truly became limitless and allowed my authentic self to come into the light.
I haven't even begun to read the messages. I've just seen some of the banners coming in, and I am blown away.
The athlete has been married to her wife Priscilla since 2002, and they share a 9-year-old daughter, Mia. Gabby thanked her friends and family for accepting her for who she is, adding, "I don't expect everyone to agree or understand. It's not my place to change any of your core beliefs. Just know the outer shell may change, but the soul remains the same."
I just want to say thank you to everyone that held support for me before the world knew. You know who you are.
On Wednesday, prior to coming out as transgender, Gabby shared a tribute to Priscilla, calling her her twin flame. Quote, "We stand by each other's side, fully supporting without judgment, without opinion, bonded by lifetimes of pain, heartache, joy, happiness, passion, irreplaceable experiences, births and deaths, and we are both free and more in love than any lifetime before." On Thursday, Gabby thanked her fans for their love and support on her Insta story.
Thank you for everyone with the flood of positive messages coming in. I love you all so much.
And on Friday, she shared a montage of clips, including this moment with Priscilla, dancing in the bathroom.
At 7, a new year means a new look on Giant food shelves. Next month, the chain will display new shelf labels for more than 3,000 products that come from minority-owned businesses. The change will happen in all 164 stores and will identify products from its network of more than 200 businesses that are all women, Black, Asian, Indian, Hispanic, LGBT, or veteran-owned. The labels will also be featured on Giant's website on mobile apps as well.
Newly released footage shows a Mason man opening fire on a deputy at point-blank range and ensuing a shootout there in mid-February, that is. We do want to warn you, though, what you are about to see here may be disturbing to some of you. WCPO 9 News reporter Jake Ryle is breaking down the footage and has reaction from a law enforcement expert.
It's February 15th. Deputy Sarah Vaught on the right of your screen is knocking on the door of a home on Hunt Club Drive in Mason. She's responding to a welfare check.
Here he is.
That's when the door opens and a point-blank shootout begins.
I remember one of the more senior officers saying the police work was really 95% tedious boredom, punctuated by 5% of sheer terror. And as I understand what happened here, that's kind of where it went.
Just moments before the suspect's first shot, she ducks her head. She wasn't hit and returned 5 rounds, striking Lance Runyon several times. It all happened within a period of 3 seconds.
Hardly what you would expect on a welfare check. But the thing about police work is you go from 0 to 60 in about a half a second.
Gene Ferrara, who spent decades as a Cincinnati officer and was police chief of UC, says while the situation was tense, she followed the handbook to a T.
You have to react, and the reaction is based on whatever you've programmed into yourself through training. And that's really, I'm sure, what got her through that.
Begin with the latest on the officer shot. Body cam video shows the moment a man in Brooklyn fires down a staircase at 2 NYPD officers. The officers returning fire. One hit but saved by his bullet-resistant vest. The other officer grazed in the leg. Both are okay. The suspect not injured in this.
Such a scary situation, and now police are giving new details about this confrontation.
Well, Liz and David, it was the suspect's roommate who had called cops for help. Police say he had been shot in both of his legs, but when officers first arrived, none of that was clear, though. They initially confronted a man who seemed friendly, but then all of a sudden, from under the blanket he was wearing over his shoulders, he pulls a gun and opens fire.
Did you call?
Yeah, I gave you a call. It is NYPD body-worn camera capturing what appears to be a routine call for help, but within seconds, cops are under fire.
You called? Huh? Did you call? Yo, this yo, put the gun down.
From just 10 feet away, the suspect fires 3 shots at cops. Police return fire, 23 rounds in all.
Our perpetrator pulled out a .38 caliber revolver from under the blanket and displayed it toward the officers. The officers drew their service weapons and stated multiple times for him to drop his firearm.
Police say the suspect then retreated back into his apartment. Investigators say none of those shots struck him. He then barricaded himself in the unit and took a hostage.
The police officer who was first in the single file line instinctively turned his body, bladed himself like this, and was able to avoid a direct impact to his bullet-resistant vest. The bullet grazed the front of his vest, which struck his body-worn camera magnet.
Yo, put the gun down.
After about an hour, hostage negotiators were able to bring him out and take the gunman into custody. Charges are pending against 44-year-old Ridwan Abdur Rashid. Cops say his roommate called 911 from the closet, hiding from Rashid. It happened last night after 9 p.m. on Hawthorne Street in Brooklyn. 2 police officers were shot, one with the bullet lodged in his vest, the other grazed in his leg. Cops say the revolver used to shoot cops is an illegal firearm. Also recovered from the apartment, police say a shotgun and an AR-15 semi-automatic.
What last night reminds us is 2 things. Number 1, there is no routine call. And number 2, police officers have split-second decisions to make life and death circumstances. We have seen this far too often lately.
This is now the 4th officer to be shot within 5 months. The 2 officers from last night were treated and released from the hospital. The roommate shot in both of his legs is in stable condition.
A bike rider up ahead is struck from behind by a car. The guy recording the accident pulls over to give aid. The cyclist is in really bad shape. Now comes another shocker. He's the local sheriff in Volusia County, Florida. Sheriff Mike Chitwood suffered a fractured fibula and a really nasty bruise on his back.
The stitches in my back, and I keep suffering from massive headaches. This could have been a heck of a lot worse.
Hours later, using traffic surveillance cameras, police tracked down the alleged driver. She was identified as 20-year-old Paige Bergman.
Let me see your hands. Come on out here. Come to the back of the car, please. Put your hands on the back of the car. You too. Come here. You're not free to leave.
She tells officers that she thought she hit a mailbox. Her grandparents come outside to see what's going on.
She did not hit a mailbox. Do you want to know what she hit? Mike Chitwood, the sheriff.
So what happened? Police say the young woman told them she was shopping online while driving.
I don't know what it's going to take for us as a society to say that this is unacceptable, that people are losing their lives or they're suffering life-altering injuries all because of this.